What worries me here is that the question isn't any of the questions that I'm going to be asked for the Q&A. The question is, will we finally see an emergency service vehicle in this one? Because I've made 5 vids since I came back, and not a single one. Anyway, we had some cracking questions in part 1, and I personally think the ones coming up in part 2 are even better. Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this part 2 of May's question mark Q&A of the wrestling variety. Had some great ones in part 1, even if I did waffle on about British wrestling for quite a while. Probably won't be the case this time. So we get straight into this because there's a lot to do, and what I'm hoping is I can answer all the rest of the questions in this one part. It'll mean it's a ridiculously long video, but it means they're all done. That's good for me. David James says, "Hi Mark, long-time fan since 2007. Love your vids and honest opinions. Please keep up the good work." That's awesome. 2007, fuck me, man. Stuck around with me for 7 years. That's one of those things that happens in doing this from time to time. That sort of just blows your mind a little bit, because it's like, I don't think I'm very entertaining, but you must think I'm really entertaining, which is a big, it makes you have a fuzzy feeling in your tummy, doesn't it? At the same time, it can also fuel you to have a genuinely massive ego, can't it? Anyway, your question is, do you feel the WWE Network may actually end up helping the smaller promotions in the long run due to the fact that they can now get on pay-per-view, when before they had to do pay-per-views? Thanks, Joe. I've never considered this, didn't even think of it. And you've got a good point, I suppose, in that the pay-per-view companies know that wrestling fans buy pay-per-views, so they may think to themselves, well, if we can just find another wrestling company, they'll get us pay-per-views. Of course, it doesn't work like that. You need to look at TNA, for example, who just don't get pay-per-view buys, do they? If they get, I think it's 2 million people watch Impact every week, and a fraction of that buy the pay-per-view. So, the thing is, I can see where you're coming from. I really can. If someone like Ring of Honor, I went to say a pay-per-view provider, and now I can't think of it. Is it Dish TV? Are they it? Is that right? That sounds right in my head, so we'll go with that. If Dish TV go, right, we haven't got WWE anymore, so I want to put some wrestling in its place, they could cherry pick any company they like. Oh, do you want to put a pay-per-view on? Like, damn fucking right I do. But at the same time, I think obviously it'd be better for one that already does established pay-per-view, so Ring of Honor is obviously a prime candidate for something like that. It's weird. Like I say, I read that question a couple of days ago and just went, God, I'd never thought of that. And so if you're wondering why I read the question, because I don't tend to read the questions on ahead, that was the halfway point between the two bits. That's it. So, hi Mark. I'm going to say that doesn't work, because I've just told you that I think the question's going to be better in this one. It's guesswork. It's guesswork. Saint Jimmy 182 says, "Hi Mark, it's no secret that the Intercontinental Championship hasn't been relevant for a few years now. So my question is, do you think this WWE should have a similar storyline like they did with Santino Marella, and have the current IC champion, which is of course is Bad News Barrett, come out and brag that he is going to beat the Honky Tonk Man's record 64-week IC title reign? Hell, maybe even have Barrett beat it if WWE could drag it out that long, or at least come very close. I believe this will bring a huge slice of credibility back to the IC title, and also help push Wade Barrett's new gimmick even further. Please let me know your thoughts. Keep up the excellent work. Thanks." Cheers, Jimmy. We've just seen a long title reign, haven't we, in Dean Ambrose's US title reign, which lasted forever, and he never defended it, which is very strange and makes you think to yourself, well, what's the point in even having that championship belt if it's just completely forgotten? I'm surprised that Dean still came out with it when he was wrestling in the 6-man matches. When he's wrestling as part of the Shield, it's one of those, he's still got the belt then. And they have it announced. The beating the streak thing, or beating the 64-week title reign, 84 weeks. See, I've got it on the brain from doing it 10 years ago. I mean, 98 vid. God, I'm all over the shop today, aren't I? Fucking Christ, one of those days already. I think when they did it with Santino, they should have kept it going for longer. Personally, I really do. So I would like to see it. I really would. And it's a thing. Wrestling fans like statistics. don't we? We like getting behind the streak, and we like getting behind Goldberg's undefeated streak, and if there's numbers involved, we seem to like it. So it's something for us to count along with and keep track of, and I think it would be good. I'd like to see it, yeah. L. Daniel Saint, I guess it is, so it's ST at the end, says, who do you used to commentate for, and why do you no longer commentate for them? Thanks. Used to commentate for 2 wrestling companies. First one was Great Bear. No, so the first one was GPW. The second one was Great Bear. Let's do them in order then. I got fired essentially by Great Bear, by their promoters. They gave me 4 reasons why I was fired. I talked about Future Shock a hell of a lot when I was on commentary, because a lot of the people who wrestled at Great Bear were trained at the Future Shock school, so I'd always try and bring that up. The thing with Great Bear is they didn't have any, I don't know if they do it nowadays, they didn't have any storylines at the time. So I basically went, I didn't have anything to say about the people, other than, this is the guy, this is where he's from, this is how much he weighs. These 2 are having a match because they are. Because there was no storylines, they were just having matches because of it. If it was a tournament or something like that, it was easy. But if there was no reason for the match, you've got, as a commentator, as a play-by-play, you've got to try and tell at least some sort of story that isn't, you can tell the story of the match, that's all good. But you need to give it depth, and you need to give it substance, and you need to give it meaning. So if Wrestler A and Wrestler B fought 2 years ago at a Future Shock show, I would bring it up. Because it means that if Wrestler A wins, but at Future Shock, Wrestler B had won, it matters. Because it was my belief that wrestling isn't just conflicted. No, that's not right. Constructed isn't right either. Constricted by. It's not just one promotion, I believe. And it's like I say, I talked about things like that, and I talked about Future Shock, and I talked about the training, and they had a problem with that, and they had a problem with me putting on my charity show. They really didn't like it. They put on the press release sort of thing about me that they really were not impressed about me putting on my show so close to where they run, and which of course was bollocks, because I went to the promoter. We had the idea to put on our charity show, and I went to the promoter and basically just said, look, do you mind if I do this? It's on your patch. He was the first person I went to, and he said it was fine. But then 6 months later, he had a problem with it. Oh, not even 6 months, 3-4 months later, he had a problem with it. Thirdly, because I ripped Fight Club Pro. And Great Bear have got a working relationship with Fight Club Pro. And they did a match that I thought, with the right amount of build-up, people would pay a lot of money to see. And they put a match on just with no build, and it was just like, look, these 2 are having a match. Hey. And I said, look, if I think that's stupid booking, I think it should be done like this. And then they explained why they were doing it, and I said, fair enough. Now you put it like that, that makes sense. If you put that on the original, look, these 2 are having a match graphic thing that you put on the UKFF or something like that, then, people like me will go, oh, cool, good to see why that's happening. And then, so they didn't like that. One tweet is me, they said that I might compromise their working relationship, which of course makes you think that if you're working with a company who would get that vexed about one guy's tweet, you might not want to work with them. And then they also cited me falling out with Bobby Cash. They didn't want that. And even though me and Bobby had not made up, but said, I'm happy. We've both been professionals, I think, at the end of the day, and said, look, we may not like each other, but we'll work each other happily. We'll sort everything out. We actually saw each other in person before this happened. We actually bumped into each other at a Future Shock show, and we're completely cool with each other, And then all this happened. So it's one of those things. It was I was angry at the time. I was really properly raged about it, because it was one of those, look, I would rather if you just said, look, we'd like to give someone else a try as a commentator. We're not saying that we're giving up on you, we're going to give someone else a try for a couple of months. I would have gone, cool, it's your company. It's that simple. I wouldn't have cared. I would have just gone, look, I don't mind. I would rather, but the thing is, do you notice the problem that I have there? Can you see the big glaring problem with those 4 reasons? None of them said, Mark, you're shit, or anything like that. We don't think you're good enough anymore. Get rid of you. So, that for me was the comfort, I suppose. And then a lot of people got really mad about some of the reasons. I told a couple of people, and they just went ballistic. It was one of those, wow, that's really, the show of support for me was fantastic. GPW was, do you know when you do something that you love and you really love doing it, but there's little things about it that bother you? you know? So, you may have the best job in the world, but you absolutely detest the drive to work. Does that make sense? And then you've got to do the same drive to get home, and you just, after a while, you just think, I love doing this, but I hate that. I hate it. So you either move closer to the work, or you go, fuck it, I'm going to go do something else. That's a really poor example, but I hope that conveys what I sort of think. I loved working at GPW from the moment that I came out of the curtain and sat down at my desk and I did the commentary to the moment that I walked back through the curtain. I loved that bit of it. Okay, that was awesome. And I've got, I may have been quite derogatory about the DVDs on my part 1 of this Q&A, but what I will say is, at the end of the day, on my shelf, I've got a shelf full of DVDs that have got my commentary on them, and no one can ever take that away from me. If I never do anything else in the wrestling business ever again, I've done that. I am on a DVD that is me talking. The problems were, I hated, I know I've just used an example, but the drive there was intolerable, is what I'll say. If you're outside of England, I live in a little city called Stoke-on-Trent, okay? And Stoke-on-Trent is 40 miles away from Manchester, 40 miles away from Birmingham. And Wigan from Stoke-on-Trent is 70 miles away. And to get to Wigan, you have to go past 2 of the main motorway arteries in this country. And you have to get there going up the busiest stretch of motorway in the country. So you set off, you have to be at the venue for 5 o'clock. So you set off at 2 o'clock and you get there at 6:30. And you're just like, this is absolutely ridiculous. The journey is, on a clear day, or getting home from the venue, is an hour's drive. Okay, so I hated doing the drive. No matter what time I left, I once left at 1 o'clock and got there at 6:30. Swear to God, that's true. It was no matter what time I left, I always got there at the same time because the traffic was just horrendous and there's no way round. So there was that. There was my inner fan hated it. I know it's going to seem like a crazy thing because I'm a smart fan or a smart or whatever you want to call me, yeah. But and I know how the business works and all that. And I know that they practice moves and I know they do this, that, and the other. But to go into the building to set up your laptop and then you've got an hour to kill and you can see guys practicing what they're doing. It's just horrible. And my inner fan who loves the British product so much, it was awful. From my first show, it was just, I hate this. I hate knowing who's going to win. Because of course I did. I knew every match and I knew who was going to win. Because there's 2 things for that. The first one is that, as I say, I'm a massive wrestling fan and I may sit there and criticise on videos and things like that, but when I'm there live, I am Mr. Mark, and that's no pun intended. I am Super Mark. I am a massive, massive fan. Alright? So firstly, knowing the winner is horrible, and secondly, I'm not really very good at keeping surprises, so I just wanted to go to run to my mates and tell them who was going to win all the matches. Thirdly, wasn't paid to do it. I don't even know if I should mention that, to be honest, but what I'll say is that normally it wasn't a problem because it costs me about £25 worth of fuel to get to the GPW shows, and I normally have a car full. So we put a £5 each in, happy days. It's no worries. It's the days where, and this happened like on the last 3 or 4 shows that I worked at, the days where none of your friends can come to the show, so you do that drive on your own. And so you've put in 25 quid's worth of fuel, and it's like on days where you can't afford it, that 25 quid's worth of fuel can be the difference between you eating and not. And it's one of those, so you've got to turn to your missus and say, look, I know we're meant to be going and doing the shopping, but I need that money to go and do some fake wrestling, And it's so that was one of those things that I always knew would bother me at the end. It's one of those, if people are in the car, it's not a problem. It's like I say, it's just not a problem at all. But one thing I will say as well on that, just a little bit related to that, is the drive home when you've got no one back. A 70-mile drive on your own would be torture for me, because another thing I probably shouldn't say because it's ready for instant ridicule is I talk to myself if I'm on my own if I'm on my own for more like 15 minutes. I start to talk to myself and I don't even realise I'm doing it, and it's very, very weird. It's almost like pretty much what I'm doing now. I'm talking to myself in a room. You're watching me many hours later, but right this second I'm talking to myself, and I don't like that. Lastly, there was the friction with Bobby Cash, I've got to say. He wasn't the deciding factor for me to get out. I just thought, I can't be arsed with this. I don't want there to be friction between us. because I just thought, for the greater good, I thought, because, Bobby's ridiculously talented at what he does, is what I'll say. I'm happy to admit that he's a great wrestler. I've seen him wrestle, and he's great at it. He is fantastic at taking bumps. He's an all-right ring announcer who will only get better as time goes on. And when he eventually does get into the ring, he'll be a revelation. I'm absolutely certain of that. I've got no issue saying that at all. And I just thought, for his sake, I'll be the one who bails. So yeah, and that was that. And what I'll say is that I did my last bit of commentary in either November or December, and I miss it not in the slightest, is what I'll say. I am loving my wrestling this year. I didn't like my wrestling very much last year, believe it or not. I think 2012 for me was so good, British wrestling wise, that in 2013, I think the pressure of working in the business, plus, I don't know, there wasn't as many good cards in 2013, I thought. I think taking the distraction away from the how much. That's the other thing. I went to 35 shows last year, something ridiculous like maybe 30 wrestling shows. I was up wrestling most weekends of the year, and I got to the end of the year and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. So here we are in May. This time last year, I think I've been to 15, maybe 16 shows. This year so far, I've been to 8. You know, I really wanted to get my wrestling consumption down so badly. That was another contributing factor. Like I say, with GPW, it was a load of little things that combined into one big, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's get out now. So I did the last show. I did the Crazy Cruiserweight tournament. Had a fantastic night. One of the best wrestling shows I've ever called. It was absolutely perfect. And I said, right, that's where we leave it. Let's leave it there. I've never even seen the DVD, believe it or not. I've never got one. So yeah, sorry that I've just waffled on about British wrestling for ages, like I do. Fucking Christ, I could do it all day if I was allowed. I could do a vid that would be 3 hours of Mark talking bollocks about British wrestling. Seriously, it'd be easy. It'd be the easiest video I would ever make. Because I wouldn't have to make any notes at all. I could just look at you and say, look, this is why you should go to British wrestling. 2 hours later. And the thing is, guys, you've got to understand. Ben Price asks, do you feel that crowds are trying too hard these days to make themselves part of the show? As great as the smarter crowd is for amusing chants for me, it's starting to feel like some crowds are just shitting on wrestlers who try and look funny, like the Husky Harris chants at Bray Wyatt. We talked about this on part 1. It's one of those things that it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because on the one hand, WrestleMania night, right after WrestleMania, you always think this is going to be awesome because the crowd are going to be absolutely amazing and they'll make it for a better show like they did this year. But then there's ones with the CM Punk and, like you say, Husky Harris chants that you just go, fuck off. I understand you paid for your ticket, so you are entitled to chant whatever you want, but you must realise what a prat you're making yourself sound. You know, you sound daft. It's like I said on part 1. You know, the CM Punk ones are ridiculous. They're just what are they possibly going to achieve? So, to answer your question, yes, I do. WWE TNA Full says, hi Mark, I've been a viewer of yours for quite some time now and enjoy all of your retro pay-per-view reviews. That's awesome. They're my favourite vids to do. Promise you. 10 years ago, for me, gives me so much pleasure and satisfaction. It is the hardest one to do by a mile. Honestly, it is, because you guys are awesome, right? You guys are fucking awesome people, right? The way you subscribe to me, the way you click on the ads, and the way you watch the ads, which makes a lot of difference. The way you've been supporting me for so long, since, like that comment before said, is amazing. One of the things that bugs me about you guys, if it's I make a mistake in a vid, oh my god, do you let me know about it? Mick! And there's 5 comments where I've said, wrestler A instead of wrestler B, and you just go, oh man. Just think about it. It's not very nice. We'll just have a little bit of a moan, just a little one, right? And then we'll come back to the 10 years ago, right? Think about it from my perspective. I've put hours and hours of work into this video, right? Lots of love. Vids take a long time for me to edit, a long time to upload because I've got such a slow internet connection, right? And I put it online and I'll leave it be, because that's what I try and do. I try and leave it for a couple of hours because I get panicky when it doesn't get any views. I sit there going, right, now it's had 4 views. Like, come on, 1,500 subscribers. Why was no one watching my fucking vid? But anyway, yeah, imagine that I click on the comments after a couple of hours and the comments are, Mick, you said wrestler A wrong. It's not wrestler A, it's wrestler B. It's like, because think about it, that's the comment, isn't it? So if it's Mick, You've played wrestler B instead of wrestler A when it should have been wrestler C. But other than that, great vid. That's cool. I've got no problem with that. But when it's just Mick, you put wrestler Z instead of wrestler X, that's your comment. You just go, right, so did you like the vid or not? You know, 10 years ago takes me hours and hours and hours of research. Something I should really do for my other series, or as much research as I do. I want to know why matches are happening. I want to get tendencies right. I want to get into back views. I like to tell you stories of what's happened in between the pay-per-views. I like to get all the details right. So I'll go get out my old Power Slams and I'll go through the what's happening. You know, they have a thing, what the highlights of the show, so I can pick out what's happening. If they do a pay-per-view review, I can go through it and go, all right, so they've said this is a thing. So I'll write on my notes, like some I don't do this very often, but sometimes your Power Slam will do like a 4-page spread of a pay-per-view. So I'll just note that, so make some couple of little notes of, you know, of, it's like where if they've spotted something like that's funny or is bad, I'll make little notes of that, because it's like, right, keep an eye out for this one, because it's one of those things that I can say in the vid. If there's a botch, I can say in the vid and it'll make you guys laugh. It's that simple. It's making the product better. I'm not ripping on what their opinions are or anything like that. It's just little things like that, things to look out for, because like I say, I like to tell you things that will make you laugh. You know, so if there's something stupid, like that's just fucking ridiculous happening, I want to go. The thing is, I know that you guys like it best when I rant about things. So if I can find something to rant about, I'll just write on my notes, rant about ... You know, it's like, off we go. Your question, because there is a question in there. WWE TNA full. I'm wondering, after you conclude your 1998 Was It Great series, will you review another past year in wrestling, or will you just stick to 10 years ago? Right, here we go. At the moment, the plan is, obviously, to keep going with 10 years ago. There's a pay-per-view coming up in 2005, and it's a year away from now, but I'm very much looking forward to, but also dreading at the same time, and that is ECW One Night Stand 2005. The reason I'm looking forward to this is because I remember it being a fantastic pay-per-view, and I've deliberately not watched it for a couple of years, knowing that it was coming up. Yeah, I do that. I don't watch shows for years. I haven't watched WrestleMania 21 for 2 years now, because I'm so much looking forward to watching it again as part of 10 years ago, just so I can see Angle versus Michaels. The next time I watch that match will be when I review it for you people. How good is that? I'm looking, One Night Stand, I remember it being a very good pay-per-view. And the reason I'm dreading it is because it'll be the first time that my 10 years ago, I'll be reviewing a show that the OSW guys have done before me. And it's one of those, so it'll be like, look, I'm not even going to bother. Just go and watch theirs, because it'll be so much better than mine, you know? So we're going to keep going with the 10 years ago. The other thing we're going to do is I've thought about this one quite a lot. I don't know if I've mentioned it on a vid yet, so I'll put it out there now. What I'm thinking of doing is going back through my 1999 reviews. I'm thinking of doing the whole year again. There's a couple of reasons for this. The first one is that I didn't finish all years. I never reviewed WrestleMania 15, for example. I never reviewed No Mercy, the one with the ladder match, the Terry Invitational Tournament ladder match. Tit. Ha. So I'd like to go and review the whole year. The second reason is that the video quality is because they're so old. They're from 2008, aren't they? 2007, 2008, 2009. They were all filmed on my Nokia 6680 a long time ago. The video quality is, well, they play in 280p, don't they? Whereas these play in, most of my vids play in 720, don't they? So they don't look very good visually, I don't think. So I'd like to go and redo them. I think it'll be interesting to do them because it'll be like 4 or 5 years apart to see if my opinions have changed. So what I'll probably do is I'll upload the vid, and then I'll probably tack the episode of 1999 Sucks on the end of it to make one long ass vid, so you can get a comparison. Look, this is what I think now, this is what I thought then, sort of thing. The third one is that, think about it, if I do 1999, I've got a complete pay-per-view record of, at least in the WWF, from Royal Rumble 1997 to where we're at the current 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So I've got 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, and of course at that point we'll be doing 2005. So I'll have a great big long unbroken chain of pay-per-view. Of course my 2 channels, obviously, but all the pay-per-views in that time will be reviewed. And what I'll probably do is I'll go, if I missed any, like the WCW ones from 1997, like Starrcade 97, I'll probably go back and do those. So that's what the plan is for the account. this next year or so. I'm also probably going to be changing rooms soon, because I'm doing up my bedroom at the moment, and I'm thinking of making I've got a corner where there isn't actually anything there at the moment. And so I was thinking of getting a big ass light and a green screen, making that a green screen, getting a big camera basically. But it all depends on subscribers. It's one of those, with the viewing figures we're getting at the moment, it's not really worth it. But now we've got past 1,000 subscribers, 1,500 subscribers. Sorry, we're heading towards 2,000. My old channel got 2,049. So it's one of those, when we get past that, and this channel's more successful than that one, then we'll have a look. So how's that sound? G-Cube Man, I'm not answering many of these. I'm a Jesus Christ, waffle. Even more waffling than on the first one, basically. But you guys like it, so yeah. G-Cube Man 007 says, "Hey Mark, thanks for doing the Q&As again. And even though you may not like them, my question is, what is your opinion on the alleged hazing that used to go on in wrestling? It gave us the guys we love today a possible weed out the others, but is it right to have guys who have paid their dues in the business giving you guys a hard time and maybe preventing from good ones from shining through, especially some of the really bad stuff done by guys like JBL?" Tricky question, man. Really tricky. Because you are right, it's sort of weeds out the chaff, doesn't it? I mean, people like JBL, you look back at it now and you just go, well, look, he was a dick to a lot of people, and then Joey Styles kicked his ass, so it's one of those. So he's not really a hard man, is he? I don't know, man. I don't like the thought of hazing at all. So I'm gonna say that I don't like it. It's one of those things that I would have hated, because I'm quite a shy person at the best of times, and I don't mingle well with people, and I sort of keep myself to myself a lot. So it would have been like, I don't know how I would have been with someone like JBL fucking shouting at me because I've done something wrong that I didn't know was wrong in the first place, Some guy was on the toilet, so I didn't get a chance to shake that guy's hand, and now I'm a bad guy because I didn't touch his hand. Fuck off. Got better things to do with my time, and so have you, shortly. It's a tricky one. I don't like hazing at all. You suck, says, "Hey Mark, I've got 6 questions for you." Just kidding. My question is, can you explain what it's like to experience your first taste of wrestling politics with Bobby Cash getting you fired from Great Bear? I don't know if you put allegedly on the end. I don't know if I don't know if Bobby got me fired. I think it was probably the last straw for him, but I don't know if I've said a moment ago, it made me angry, because it's like I say, I would rather have been told, look, we don't want you anymore, you're not good enough. I'd rather have that than you talk about Future Shock too much, you're fired. Because that's stupid. It's that simple. If you've got a problem with me talking about Future Shock, you take me to one side before a show, after a show. Hell, you can do it during the show if you really want to, and say to me, listen, we think you talk about Future Shock too much. Can you stop it? So I stop talking about Future Shock. It's that simple. It really is that simple. That the Fight Club Pro one, the tweeting. Mark, Fight Club Pro are our partners. We really need them. Can you not criticise their booking? All right, won't criticise the booking. Tick, done and done. So what does it say about the management of that company that they fired me for the reasons that they did? It's one of those things that if you look at it, they made themselves look stupid by doing it. And I was, like I say, I was angry at the time. Don't give a fuck now. Truly don't care. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. I get the last laugh because I don't go to the shows anymore. I used to, and I used to take lots of people to the shows. Routinely would go to Great Bear with 10 of us. Now 10 of us at a tenner a ticket is £100 in their pockets, and now they haven't got it. So it's one of those. And I find that people tell me the members of the crew who still go to the Great Bear shows, they tell me about the attendance figures, and you just go, fuck's sake, man. When their attendances are lower than my charity show was, for example, when we had 70 people at my charity show, when their attendances for a paid wrestling show are lower than that, you're doing something wrong. And you just go, right, okay, cool. And the autonomy, the politics, it's one of those things that I was sort of expecting it, I was ready for it, and when it came, it was just one of those, meh, don't care. I don't care enough about people to because when people are having a gripe at me, and it's nothing at all, you just go, all right. I just roll with it and just go, I don't care. Bobby was one of those people that I was warned about, basically. I was told, don't become friends with people in the wrestling business because they're not your mate, they're just using you. And it was one of those, I took that on board and completely ignored it and became close to Bobby, or as close as I could, as you can be in the time that we knew each other, we were friends. And so the thing is, the wrestling politics of it don't bother me in the slightest. The fact that we're not friends anymore hurt, basically, because I thought the guy was great. And yeah, I thought it was one of those things. Oh, heart on my shoulder, here it comes. Yeah, I thought Bobby Kaiser was one of the coolest people I'd ever met. All right, I was just so in awe of this guy, and I just thought, why is someone so cool hanging around with me? You know, I can't fucking believe this. And, you know, I thought, yeah, we did those vids together, which at the time I thought were really cool. You know, he used to come over quite a bit. He used to come over at least once a month, and yeah, and come on. There must be a happy balance we can do here. Oh my God. Can you hear that? I can hear it, I can't see it. But you can hear it, and that's the important thing. What did I say at the start of this bit? What did I say? Wrestling Q&A. Interrupted for ages by Siren. Hey, it's making up for a lot of videos. So yeah, the thing, where was I? Bobby. Yeah, it bothered me a lot when we stopped being friends, is what I'm basically trying to say. It really did, because a true friend, the way that our friendship fell apart is Bobby overreacted to something, and a friend, or all the friends that I've got other than him, or had other than him at the time, would have confronted me about it, but not the way that he did, and would have said, look, when you said this about me, what did you mean? And Bobby just saw red and thought that I was being a dick and refused to speak to me. So that was that. Yeah, politics, yeah, no, I don't care what people think of me enough. I really don't. I'm just not interested. If you think I'm a scruffy guy with dreadlocks and I'll never amount to anything, good for you. If you think I'm the greatest person in the world, good for you. It's one of those things that it just, if you don't like me, that's your problem. Does that make sense? So if there's people in the wrestling business who thought I was a knobhead, who's got the issue? Me or you? You know, because that's the way I roll in life. If people don't want to know me, I don't care. If people don't want to subscribe to me, don't care. You know, I like the fact that you guys subscribe to me. That's amazing. But like I say, if you don't want to subscribe to me, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, is what I'll say. You know, I'm not going to go, oh no, some guy on the internet doesn't want to subscribe to me. You know, it's one of those. So if people don't like me, didn't like me in the wrestling business, although it was politics, it was just one of the things that I just rolled with. Is what I'm basically trying to say. Waffle, waffle, British wrestling, you know, again. Autonomy influence. Hi Mark, first of all, thank you for the amazing vids that you do. You're by far my favourite wrestling reviewer in this wacky world we call the YWC. Thank you very much for that. My question is this. You're the one wrestling fan reviewer that I know of that puts a lot of emphasis on psychology and storytelling in wrestling. And it's a damn shame that few other people see that as being important. I could enjoy a good spot fest or hardcore brawl like most other fans, but for me, you can't beat good technical wrestling, psychology, and storytelling. So, what I want to ask is, when did you first realise the importance of psychology and storytelling in wrestling, and can you explain it to those who still don't quite understand these concepts? Why they make a match far more entertaining than a match that's just spot, finish? Cheers from some guy in the United States that's been a reviewer of yours since the late 2007. Again, amazing. Amazing. Wrestling psychology, when did we first realise it? It's probably, as a fan, it was after the Attitude Era. Probably, I want to say. I don't think, as a fan, I don't think it mattered as much during the Attitude Era. But I don't know. Because Brett versus Austin from '96 remained one of my favourite matches for years, even during that time. Let me tell you something, Willis. Wrestling psychology works like this. It's so simple. It's one of those things that I do not understand why people don't grasp it. Alberto Del Rio is a prime example that I can use. All right, we'll use Alberto Del Rio as an example just because he's a current wrestler. How's that sound? Or should we use Marc P? Yep, I'm going to go with Marc P because I'm better than Alberto Del Rio. Let's use Champagne. Remember that guy? Champagne's finishing move was an ankle lock. One of his finishing moves was an ankle lock. Now, I know I've not actually exhibited it much of it because I didn't quite, you know, I love psychology, just can't do it when I'm actually wrestling because I'm an idiot and I forget. I just want to hit people with things hard. So I've not used Champagne. Let's use Kurt Angle. His was the ankle lock. Kurt Angle uses the ankle lock as a finishing maneuver, does he not? His ankle, he works over the left, he's going to put the move on the left ankle of his opponent. So what that means is that in storytelling terms, that should be every single move that he does should focus on that ankle or on his leg, all right? So that when he puts the submission move on, it will be easier to get the submission victory, all right? And what is tied into that is that every time he's done a move on the ankle or on the leg, that his opponent should sell it like he is hurt. All right, and what that means is that leads into the storytelling of the match. So wrestler A, Kurt Angle, is the heel, and he's facing wrestler B. All right, and wrestler B is the babyface. Kurt Angle's the heel here. So what it means is that when he survives, when babyface goes on to win, all right, as long as he sold the leg the entire match, and as long as if he sells the leg after he's won the match as well, it makes him look heroic. It makes him look like he's amazing. It makes him look like he's a Superman. All right, and that is fantastic. Now, the other parts of psychology that you can incorporate into this, because I could talk about this one for hours as well, is where something's happened earlier, i.e. before the match, at the start of the show, on the previous show. So Kurt Angle has injured me, or injured wrestler B, sorry. So he's attacked the ankle with a crowbar or a tire wrench or something, and that. So what wrestler B needs to be doing, he needs to limp to the ring, doesn't he? He needs to have a bandage on the leg, something like that, which is even better for me storytelling, because then you've got an instant target. So when I see a wrestler that's got taped ribs coming out to the ring, and they do nothing to sell these injured ribs, or the wrestler he's facing doesn't do anything at all to the ribs, you just go, so what's the point in taping the ribs? And then, of course, because they have the commentators saying, look, DDP's got those taped ribs. No, the commentators are putting over as well, so they know the story they need to be telling, and then when they don't do it, God, it's frustrating. Now, I love a good spot fest as much as anyone else, so there are matches that are out there that are just spot, finish, and you don't care. It's when it's power moves, I think. If it's power move, finish it, crack out, yada, 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 1, 2, 3, and all that, then you just forget about it. You just go, right, we just get on with it. And you sit and enjoy it, and you mark out for the power moves and all that, and they're good every once in a while. But for me, it will always be about mat work. It'll always be about technique. It'll always be things like that. I don't like cruiserweights, for example. I especially don't like lucha libre because I don't like doing flippy, win, because they don't sell anything. And then the thing with lucha libre is they'll do a move. Some guy will do a 450 splash, and it doesn't get the win. But then some guys, and the next guy doing a leg drop off the top rope, and that does get the win. And you sat there going, but that doesn't make sense. You can kick out of a 450 splash, but you can't kick out of a leg drop off the top rope. How is that worse? And then, of course, there's hardcore wrestling where they hit each other with things. Again, if it's done well, I like it. It's when it's just generic cookie cutter shots that just go, oh, fuck off. So for me, story. I go to wrestling with my brother-in-law Alex. Alex loves flips. More flips the better. Whereas, he'll mark out more than me when flips are going down. If flips are going down, he's jumping up and down, loving it. When technical wrestling comes on, I sit there in stunned awe, clapping along and everything. Alex just sits there looking bored because it doesn't interest him at all. Thing is, what you've put on your comment is, we wish more people would like it, and we completely I'm with you 100%. I wish so much more. If nothing else from my videos, I wish people would take away an appreciation for psychology and see why I like it, and if you start watching a wrestling match and can see a story being told in that match, God, there's so many others. I've just scratched the tip of the iceberg there. I really have. Plucky Underdog is a great story to tell. You've got wrestler A, you've got wrestler B. Wrestler B is fucking massive. So it's the power versus speed that I talk about. Wrestler B is fucking huge. He should dominate wrestler A, because wrestler A is really, really small. The thing is, wrestler A is so much faster than wrestler B. So he uses his speed and his agileness to basically wear down wrestler B. Because he's so big, he gets tired very easily. That means that wrestler A just needs to be clever. Just choose his time, pick his moments, and he'll be able to get the win. And then you've got the underdog that goes well in that. The underdog who gets the living snot kicked out of it, but keeps kicking out because he's got heart and he's got guts. That's psychology. You know, it's not just, oh, this guy's fucking selling the leg. You know, it's so much more than that. You know, it's one of those things that it's so many wrestling fans just want to see big finishers, and just like, if you just open your mind a little bit, listen to your friend Marc P, your wrestling enjoyment will go up through the roof. It really, really will. Bellas01 says, what does Ryback's socks smell like? Hot piri piri mayo, obviously. Craig Johnson says, is there any wrestling merchandise you regret purchasing? Craig, is there any wrestling merchandise you regret purchasing? Craig, do you not see those binoculars that I showed you all those years ago? Bad. Any of my Rock t-shirts. There we go. Any of the t-shirts of The Rock that I have bought over the years, because at the time you buy them and you go out into the wide world, and it's the Attitude Era and people sort of wrestling fan, and then you keep the t-shirts and you wear them a couple of years after The Rock's gone, and you go to a swimming pool and you're wearing your Rock t-shirt, and the lifeguard, as you walk in, and there's one of the lifeguards on the reception, and as you're walking away, you shout out, "If you smell!" And it's one of those things where you just want to crawl up your own arse because you're so embarrassed. Does that make sense? That's an example I will give you for that. The RV1HD says, Vince McMahon is afraid to turn John Cena heel due to John Cena's work with Make-A-Wish and the fact that John Cena is by far the biggest merchandise seller. However, the three biggest babyface names in WWE history, which of course is Hogan, Rock and Austin, were all turned heel at some point in their careers, and the WWE nor WCW crumbled. If the three biggest names can turn heel, why can't John Cena? WWE has proven that they can move on without CM Punk, so why can't they move forward with a Cena heel turn? It would elevate babyface stars like Bryan even more to take on a heel Cena, thus creating more chance of a top new babyface. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. I can't answer the question, can I? It's one of those tricky ones. We all want it so badly. John Cena as a heel would do. It would freshen up the character, because I think the character is stale as balls. You could bring in some new moves. Every feud that he's had in the last 2 years, they can run again, because now John Cena's heel, so they can get more mileage out of any of the feuds. You know, it's one of the things like you say. I mean, there's always been the Hulk Hogan was very cautious about turning heel. You know, in 1996, and you know, turning Austin heel in 2001 was a great big mistake. But at least they took a chance on it. You know, at least turn him heel. Look, if they don't turn, fuck it, it's all good. But just come out and just be a no. Eddie Guerrero in 2005 is a great example of that. They tried to turn him heel and the fans just refused to boo him. Just point blank, like, no, not going to boo you because I think you're too great. And Austin's the same. We don't want to boo you. But so at least try it. Then you know, if he catches fire as a heel and we all boo him to Hades, it's all good. But if they keep cheering him, like, fuck it, we'll turn him back. Happy days. 6 months. You know, give him 6 months just to see. It's one of those things I just don't know. Yeah, he sells a lot of merchandise. Hulk Hogan used to do a lot of stuff for Make-A-Wish. He was in the position Cena is. You know, kids wanted to see Hulk Hogan. You know, I just don't know. Jigsaw Kid 95 says, how do you rate Ambrose in the ring compared to Rollins and Reigns? And what do you think do you think all three will be main eventers when they break up? I think all three will be main eventers, yeah. It's interesting because the way the Shield have been booked recently, at the start of this year, you would have said that Reigns is going to be the next breakout star. Right this minute, I'd say that Rollins will be the next breakout star. The way they're booked is fantastic. 1 week, one of them will be the Superman. The next week, the other week is the Superman. It seems interesting that Ambrose is the one that doesn't seem to be getting that sort of push. But the thing is, now that the Shield have turned face, and everyone's behind the Shield, believe in the Shield, it's all good to support the Shield, it's fantastic. Although why you wouldn't like them, I just don't get. The Shield are one of those stables that come into wrestling and instantly you think, I like them. I like heels, you know that. So of course I'm going to like them straight. I'm going to go, those guys are fucking awesome. But yeah, the quality of match they've had in this last 12 months, you just go, how could anyone not like these guys? Anyway, the point is that, yeah, because they've turned face, and you can see this face turn going for quite a while, and you don't think they're going to split them up anytime soon. I mean, if they split them up before, I want to say Survivor Series, but it's, you know, if they split them up anytime before Survivor Series, I'll be amazed. Honestly, I will, because then they can push to a WrestleMania match, I suppose. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is, because there is a point in all these random ramblings, there are points in there. It's just we think of the point, and then we go off on one, And then it's like, and then I sit in my brain going, now what was this point here? What was the, oh, that's right, yeah. And we go back. And the point is that I'm trying to make this time is that they've got time to do the same thing with Ambrose. I think all three main event, I've got main event talent straight away. And yeah, I'm loving Ambrose. I really do think his facial expressions are so good. He's the one who, he needs to be a heel though in that, of those three in my opinion. A89DC, long-time viewer of mine, says, what is your favourite episode of OSW review? Oh, I love OSW review. I have all of their podcasts in my car at the moment, which is awesome, because they make long drives where I sit and talk to myself non-existent, because I don't talk to myself, I just listen to them and agree with what they're saying. So I'm still talking to myself, damn it. Shit. Favourite OSW is WrestleMania 9. I think that video is them at their absolute best. Because it's funny and it's entertaining. It's good to hear them absolutely ripping the show. The what bars in there are fucking awesome. The thing that Jay does, the recap of all of Ed Leslie's gimmicks, of Bruce Beefcake's gimmicks, is just the thing that I salivate about doing. That's what I would do in my vids. Honestly, alright, my next vid will be my 10 years ago episode, Judgment Day 2004. And what I'm going to do is, you know how sometimes I start off the vid and I'll tell you about all the stories and what's been happening. This time we're not going to do that, we're going to just go through it. But when we get to JBL versus Eddie Guerrero, I'm going to tell you all about JBL, because of course the last time I talked about JBL, he was Bradshaw, and that was at WrestleMania 20. So I've got a big ass paragraph of what JBL's been up to since WrestleMania. I'm actually really well, pat myself on the back a little bit here, I know, but I think it's very well written. It flows nicely. It condenses a lot of information into a small paragraph. The thing is, and there is a point, oh, I just waffle with shit and you guys really like it. It's funny. I keep looking down at the time and going, God, you've talked bollocks for no time. And I was hoping to get this Q&A finished, and it's just not going to be the case, is it? It's going to be a 3-part, I know it. Oh, that light's going to go off. It's like, right, you've talked for an hour. This phone, I can record for an hour and a half on it. If that red light goes off, that's live. Waffled on for an hour and a half. The point is, is that if I could, while I'm talking about it, on the screen, you would see what I'm talking about. When JBL's done this and JBL's done that, and the bit where JBL's on the border with the immigrants, I'd show you. I'm so scared of copyright that I won't do it, obviously. But my vids would look like OSW vids, sort of. You know, obviously you guys really seem to prefer it when I'm talking like this instead of just being able to hear my voice. So, and I know this because you've told me enough. Bloody hell. So yeah, it'd be a mix of the two, a mix of what you see now combined with what the OSW guys would do. You know, I love them to bits, and like I say, that recap that they did with Leslie, that is what I would do if it's so badly if I could. So when I'm talking about what's happened, look, this is happening on Raw, and this is happening, and also of course if I say, and then this fucking awesome spot would happen, I'd show you what was happening. I'd probably turn the commentary off and say, look, and then this happened, and then look, and then they did this, and then such and such countered this, and then they did this, and it was the fucking dopest thing I've ever seen. And there it is on screen, so you can say, yeah, that was dope. So you don't have to go and look up for anything. So you can essentially watch the pay-per-view along with me, sort of thing, you know. And so yeah, I'm such a huge fan of theirs. I absolutely love them. Honestly, I can be having a shit day and I can get a tweet from Jay Hunter, a reply to something I've said, and it just makes me the happiest person in the world. And it's like, I want that. I want what you've got, Jay. I want to be able to tweet me, and I want to just reply. And no matter what I say, as long as it's not a nasty thing, obviously, I want my reply to make people's day. Does that make sense? And, it's quite an ego-driven thing. It's my desire to be famous, if you want to call it that. I want to be able to have that influence of people. That's what I would love in the wrestling business, to be able to send someone a tweet or reply to a tweet, and they go, "Oh my god, I've had a fucking tweet off Marc Pearson." Fucking hell, that'd be awesome. Of course, at the same time, my shyness and humbleness goes, "No, I don't want it. I don't like it at all." Ty Throne Rutherford says, "Hi Mark, I'm a big fan of your channel. Who are your top 3 wrestlers in the WWE and Future Shock Wrestling right now? Keep up the good work. I spend many hours at work watching your vids," which is awesome because you told me that on Facebook. That's fantastic. What do you do at work? I'm really bored. I sit and watch Mark P vids. There's enough of them. 200 on this channel. I don't know how many there are on the old one. Jesus Christ. This 10 years ago series now. I think to watch the 10 Years Ago series from end to end would take you a couple of days now, which is amazing. I love that. I think that's fantastic. WWE are Cesaro, probably. And can I say Sami Zayn, because I love his work, and Tyler Breeze? No, it's probably Daniel Bryan. Can I swap Tyler Breeze for Sami Zayn? I love Tyler Breeze. I think his character is fucking awesome. It won't work on the main roster. It just won't. I'm sure it's another one of those characters that I just don't think will work. I just love how fucking arrogant he is. He's got one of those faces you want to punch so badly, don't you? And that for me is a naturally brilliant heel. So happy days, you know. In Future Shock, it's quite a bit. I was going to say it's harder. There's 4. Can I say 4? Top of the crown is T-Bone, and then it's Zach Gibson, and then there's 2 split, and and that is Xander Cooper, who is the current trophy tournament holder. Essentially #1 contender. He's got a faction called the Uprising, and his work. I mean, I've always, since the first day I saw Xander, I thought this guy is going to be awesome, and then 3 years later, as it is getting close to now, I see him and go, see, I fucking told you it would be. He just needed a bit of time. And, his looks improved, his body's improved, his work, his mic skills are fantastic. And, yeah, I absolutely love him. I can't wait for him to win the Future Shock Championship, which he better do. On par with that, it pains me to say, is fucking Dave Rain, because Dave Rain is the most over guy in Future Shock at the moment. It's fucking weird. It's really strange to sit in the Guildhall on the front row. Dave Rain's music hits, place goes mental. Dave Rain's music gets the beat going, everyone starts clapping along. He comes out, the pop is amazing, and you just go, what happened here? It sometimes feels like you haven't been to a Future Shock show for a year, because it's like, this time last year, you were the most hated guy in this room, and now everyone loves you, and it's like, I won't cheer you. You know that, don't you? I liked you because you're a heel and you do heely things that are fucking dickhead. And the worst part, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything to become a babyface. He's just been turned by the crowd. So all the dickhead things that he used to do, still does them. Still does a few of them at least. It's like, oh. So Dave Rain, Xander Cooper, Zach Gibson, and T-Bone. T-Bone is the best. I love the guy so much. Fierce. Terrifies me, honestly. When some of you might not know this one, but there's talking to a wrestler who is a big bad heel, and you in the ring they're so scary, and then you talk to them on the outside and they're a really nice guy, and your brain can't seem to separate that. T-Bone's one of those people. He's so scary in the ring, and he's such a nice bloke that you just go, how does that work? Liam Monaghan says, hi Mark, you may have noticed that quite a lot of bookmakers in the UK now take bets on the outcome of WWE pay-per-view matches. I just wanted to find out your opinion on that. For example, if someone was to give you £100 to bet on pay-per-view matches over the course of a year, do you think you can make a profit? Bookmaking in WWE seems ever so strange, doesn't it? It's a predetermined thing, but at the same time, until the show starts, because I haven't got any backstage contacts, and I don't look at dirt sheets. So if I was to put bets on WWE, it would be pure guesswork, wouldn't it? A lot of speculation, it would be all in, it'd be just like doing a prediction vid. I think this person is going to win. Thing is, as a rule, I'm quite good with my prediction. No, I'm not. I think if a pay-per-view's got 10 matches on it, I'll get half of them right. I think at Extreme Rules, I think I called them all actually. Apart from Evolution versus The Shield, I would have had Evolution win. But I think every other match I called. So I probably would have made some money back, wouldn't I? What do I think of it? I think it's great. I think I remember the last time I remember bookies taking bets on wrestling was in 2002. No, it wasn't. It was 2001. I clearly remember. Can't remember which bookmakers it was, but they did a thing. Who will be the WWF champion, as it was then, at the end of the year on December 31st? Who will be WWF champion? If you'd put money on Chris Jericho, you would have won a lot of cash. Let's put it that way. I think it's all good. I don't see a problem. I'm not a betting person, you see. Maybe it's not. It's not that I think I have a problem with betting. I really don't. I just think it's one of those things that I am so unlucky. I am so unlucky. If I did put a bet on something happening, it wouldn't happen. I'm so sure of that. It's. I mean, I went to some greyhound racing once, and I didn't win a cent. Not a single penny, all night. Spunked a whole load of money away. Didn't win a thing. Didn't win one thing. Even, went on the odds-on favourite. No. Just no. Final Limit says, what would your reaction be if Cena came out to the ring for a segment with Vince and Triple H, and he pulled out a gun and shot Vince and Triple H for real, non-kayfabe? How would the fans react? How would the fans live in the audience react? How would you react? I don't think I'd see it. Is the thing. Raw's on a tape delay, isn't it? It's on a 10-second delay, so they can bleep out swearing or can cut things out. So we wouldn't see it, I think is the truth. Fans, it's an odd question, this one, because how would you think? If they're in an arena of 10,000 fans, and their hero comes out, blasts Vince and Triple H for real, because it's all good and well saying, I'm going to beat you up, or I'm going to hit you with a chair, but no one wants to see someone die, do they? So my reaction, I probably wouldn't see it. I'd be absolutely horrified. I'd be disgusted. I'd be, getting this electric chair immediately. And yeah, I think the fans would be horrified. It's an odd question, that one. Eliminator says, hi Mark, with a C. Well done. Do you think that they will make Wade Barrett the first British-born world champion, or will they just give up on again? Sheamus is from Dublin, which I'm sure you're all aware of. Personally, I think the Bad News Barrett gimmick, I love the Bad News Barrett's gimmick, whereas I remember everyone seemed to hate it at first, when it first started. Also, what do you think there are so many English wrestlers in WWE at the moment? Shame they released the only English wrestler on NXT from here in the South Coast, Oliver Gray. Thanks for answering. Been subscribed for almost 7 years. Again, amazing. If you can believe that, and still loving the vids, keep them coming. Keep it up, man, sorry. British wrestling is amazing. I keep telling you this. We've got great talent over here at the moment. We've got some fantastic schools. GPW have got their school, and Future Shock have got their school, And Progress have got their school, and Rev Pro have got a school, I think they have. PCW are about to open their school, and theirs is going to be a charity project. It's going to be a not-for-profit thing. That's incredible, honestly, I think. BPW have got a school, BWP, whichever. I keep getting that confused. We've got great schools over here. And I think, we've got great talent. You just need to go to a British wrestling show to see that. Back in the day, just give me a second. Let's just go into the fridge. Back in the day, if you saw World of Sport, I've talked about it on my vids before, where the wrestling was. British wrestling was fucking shite. I will say that. You go back and watch the World of Sport now, there is a lot of good on it, but at the same time, there's a hell of a lot of horrible looking wrestlers. And there's nothing to stand out about them at all. Nowadays, the wrestlers over in this country take it so seriously. You need to look at a man like Chris Travis before. Go and look him up on Google if you haven't heard of him. Body is incredible. Absolutely incredible. They take their nutrition really seriously. All of it's important to them. So I think the WWE come over here and hold their training camps and just, you know when the training camps are coming up, because you see on Twitter, all these wrestlers are going to go into them. You think, yeah, all of you can do it. Go on, do it. Make it so. Bad News Barrett character, when I first started, I didn't like it because it was one of those, look, they could do so much better with Wade than this. And the character has grown on me a hell of a lot to the point where I find it ridiculously entertaining now. I'm still not convinced that Wade's a particularly great wrestler. I think he should get a better finisher. Both his finishers are shit, aren't they? Let's be honest here. The Wasteland, where you pick him up and slam him down. Well done, you did a slam. And the Bull Hammer, which is just an elbow to the face. And I think they're both not great moves. I like Wade. If you say the first British World Champion, you mean WWE, of course, don't you? Not, because does that Brutus Magnus guy does not count anymore. First British champion, but no one actually cares, so, Oliver Gray, who was that? Joel Redman, wasn't it? He's a great wrestler. Fantastic wrestler, actually. Hey Mark, my question to you is, what did you think of the Ministry of Darkness in the Attitude Era? Not a fan, to be honest. Bit too dark, bit too deep, bit too... Why? I get wrestling's stupid, and wrestling has gimmicks in it that are fucking stupid. But I don't understand... Right, this is the thing, right? It all comes back to the fact that you're wrestling, right? So... What I'm trying to say is, so you've got a guy who wrestles for a living. That's what he does, right? And he is going to... See, just the thought of it. So I'm going to kidnap some guy, and I'm going to brainwash him and all that, and I'm going to make him into Midian. Then what? I'm going to go and wrestle someone. Like, why don't you just kill him? You know, if you've got all these superpowers, why bother wrestling them? So characters like that and gimmicks like that, at my age that I was at the time, and at my age that I am now, just goes, no, just no. I thought the ministry itself, the actual group, was all right. When they became the corporate ministry, that was just, oh, go away. So it's one of those, yeah, how's that sound? It's all right, I suppose. It's quite memorable, so we'll give it that one. But it's, for me, it's like I say, it's the suspension of disbelief with things like that. Just go, no, just my brain just doesn't want, just does not want at all. King Romeo says, what if John Cena came out for his match with The Rock in WrestleMania 28, drunk out of his fucking mind, and the referees had to help him to the ring because he couldn't walk on his own? What would happen? I can't see WWE doing that. TNA did it with Jeff Hardy a few years ago, didn't they? I don't think WWE, I don't think it would happen. I think if he was in the dreaded not in condition to perform, I don't think they'd let him anywhere near. I don't know what they would do. I really don't know what they would do if he were in no condition to perform, but I just don't think it would happen at all. But like I say, I mean, if it did, I think the only thing they could do was to do what they did with Jeff Hardy and Sting, I suppose. Barry Ahern says, hey Mark, recently you criticised WWE for having Batista win the Royal... This is a really good question, by the way, just flicking through this one as I was answering that one. You have for having Batista win the Royal Rumble, making the point that it's been done before and it's hard to become emotionally invested in the wrestler unless it's their first time winning the Rumble, first time challenging for the title, like Benoit did in 2004, which I've said recently. With that in mind, what do you think of Austin winning the Rumble 3 times? Were you as emotionally invested in his road to WrestleMania in 98 and 01 as you were in 97? Would love to know your thoughts. Keep up the good work. Been watching since 07. Another one. Amazing. That's 4 on this video of you who have been watching since 2007. That is mind-blowing. It really is. Oh, that's such a horrible question as well, because you're absolutely right. You essentially calling me out on something that I've said, and where you're like, but you're wrong here. I love that. That's fantastic. It goes against everything I've just said, doesn't it, about the music, but you know, whatever. It's my vid, fuck off. Right, the thing is, I think what it is in both 1998, and especially for me in 2001, the storyline made you want Austin to win. Does that make sense? Going into it. So Austin's been out for ages, he wants the time championship back, you know, he has to win the Rumble, has to do it the hard way, yada yada yada, and gets the title shot. How's this sound? As long as it's right. Yeah, how's that sound? There's a good story there. Batista came back, said he wanted to win the Rumble, said he wanted to win the championship, and I don't care. It's like, and? You know, there's no emotional investment there at all. That's the thing, isn't it? That's the emotional investment. How's that sound? It's the emotional investment of, do you give a fuck about Batista coming back and his journey to win the WWE Championship again? No. So, meh. I'm not prepared to pay for that sort of thing, am I? Whereas Austin came back in the September or the October, October wasn't it? He came back, and the journey has been, look, this is my plan. I want the championship, I want the championship, I want the fucking championship. So yeah, I had no problem with that at all. Luke Forrest says, what is your favourite WWE documentary? Person minus the Stone Cold Steve Austin Bottom Line DVD. Why is it your favourite? I love the Stone Cold Steve Austin one. I think it's very good. There's loads that have come out recently that I love. I'm always going to go back to the ECW one because it was so well done. I like the True Story of WrestleMania one because there were bits on it that you'd never seen before. The recent History of WWE one I liked. I like the Triple H one, believe it or not, apart from when they were talking about the wedding, because I just didn't care. Of course, it made you go, oh, Triple H isn't too bad, is he really? When you start going, oh, he's a cunt. Don't think that. I love the CM Punk one. I thought that was really good. I like a lot of them. I'm prepared to watch near enough anything that comes out, to be honest. I'll tell you one that, can I split the thing on and just tell you a little story? I got the Best of Raw after show DVD a couple of days ago. One of the reasons why I did a couple of vids last week was one of the reasons I wanted to review that DVD. I thought, I haven't done a recent DVD review for ages. I'll give that a try, see what the people think of it. And I watched the first disc, and no, I'm not prepared to watch the second or third. So like, not interested in the slightest. Because I went into it and go, that sounds really entertaining, that sounds really interesting. And it is a little bit, but by the saints, it's repetitive. You sat there with it. There's only so many times where after the show, the heel gets stunned, the heel gets rock bottomed, and they have a beer bash, and all the matches that are on it are rubbish. And you just start going, this is really dull. I really genuinely don't recommend that one. Batista says, with the streak, however, which one of these do you think people in the future will look back and remember WrestleMania for? Do you think they'll remember from WrestleMania for the Undertaker's streak, or Shawn Michaels being Mr. WrestleMania with his 4 or 5 star matches at 10, 12, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, 25, and 26? Well, the thing is, until I want to say 18, might say 19. When did the streak become relevant? Is what I'll say. Because for years they meant Undertaker has never lost at WrestleMania, but it didn't matter. The streak wasn't important. It's like you watch the match at WrestleMania 17 with Triple H. It's not they don't mention that that he's on a streak or anything like that. So me personally, it's Shawn Michaels. See. I think you give. Actually, what I'll say is I think you're selling him short a little bit there, because of course he wrestled at all the WrestleMania. He had the best match of the night at WrestleMania 9, for example, with Tito Arriba. So yeah, Shawn Michaels for me. Nintendo Fanboy 1988 says, "What did you think of Kane when he set JR on fire on an episode of Raw back in 2003? Fucking stupid." How's that sound? No, the thing is, right. Things like this make me think of Kane, and then I think of Kane, and then I think of Kane, and then I think how fucking stupid Kane is. And what I would like to, I'll elaborate if you like. Kane can fire lightning out of his fingers. We know this. We saw it in '98 and '97. And bear in mind, this guy, this wrestler, he can summon fire from the turnbuckles with his bare hands. So why does he need a match to set fucking Jim Ross on fire? More importantly, what's to achieve? Burning a guy to death. You won't be able to wrestle again. This, once again, is the wrestling. If this is real life, I don't care. If you want to set a guy on fire, good for you, because you're evil. But what's it got to do with wrestling? It's one of those stupid things. You set me on fire, I want my revenge. I'm not going to get a gun and stick it in your face. I'm going to take you to a fucking squared circle and beat you with fake moves. It's the suspension of disbelief once again. Characters like Undertaker and Kane, we fucking love them, but they do stupid things that you just go, nah, fuck off. D. Ali says, what would you think of a feud with Sting and Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania if the Undertaker can't do it? Would it hurt Bray if Sting went over? And of course, I'm talking about Crow Sting. Well, Sting versus Bray could be interesting, couldn't it? I don't think Sting will wrestle in the WWE. Now I've given this one a bit of thought the last couple of days, because I think there was a Sting question on the part 1. I think if Sting comes in, he'll do the documentaries. They'll probably give him a DVD bio of his own, so he can plug that on Raw maybe. I can't see him getting in the ring. I don't know why. Sting versus Bray? I don't think it hurt Bray. I mean, he's just lost to fucking Cena at WrestleMania, so well, there we go. Ryan Marwini says, what are your thoughts on CZW, if you have ever even heard or watched it? Keep up the good work. Do you know where I've seen CZW? No, it's not CZW. It's not. It's CZW. I'm British, alright? We say Z. You can't call it CZW. It doesn't work like that, does it? You can't pick and choose with your grammar, in my opinion. So, ECW wrestler EZ Money. Oh, who was it who said this? No, it'll come to me. It'll come to me, it really will, later on. But, he is EZ Money over here, isn't he? So it doesn't work. EZ Money. CZW, whatever you want to call it, I've seen on Botchamania. And that's it. I see him on there and think, well, I don't want to watch that. Oh, shit. So, yeah, that's that. Hey, Mark, says Raiding the Blood Edge. What's your opinion on people that think that WWE is racist? Do they? Their arguments consist of woeful treatment of every Japanese talent they've ever had in. They also believe that there's never been a black WWE champion and that The Rock doesn't count because he's halfback. I personally believe it's a load of bull. What do you think? Thanks, been a subscriber for 3 years now, and your heel beard is still fucking glorious. Please grow a Zeb Coulter style mustache. That'd be fun. My beard looks terrible today, doesn't it? I did an experiment last night, and I basically twisted up into 3 strands. If I wasn't so bloody lazy, I'd show you a photo on the screen, but I'm not going because I'm lazy. Look on my Facebook page. Yeah, I put it into 3 strands and I waxed it in place, and it looked badass, I think. It's one of those, look, keep growing your beard, because one day you'll be able to do that, and it will look so good. Even if at the moment, so right now it looks a fucking mess, doesn't it? They'd have mistreated every Japanese talent. Think of Taka and think of Tajiri and the things that they've made them do and the stereotype. But the thing is, I think that stereotype does that stereotype reflect on America in general? Is what the question I'd ask back at you. We all stereotype, man. If you think of a Scottish person, they're wearing a kilt. Your average Scottish person probably is exactly wearing the same with me now, jeans and a t-shirt. It's just one of those things what we do. And us Brits have got disgraceful teeth and live in castles and have a butler called Jeeves. Jeeves, where's my tea? Sort of thing. And that's not right. And all Americans are colossally large and could care less about things. It's all the stereotypes, isn't it? I suppose. It's just one of those things. Wrestling is full of stereotypes. So if a Japanese person, they do a lot of bowing, and they were personally responsible for Pearl Harbor. So that's just how it is. It's one of those things. I think Rock counts as black personally, but if you don't, it's one of those things. Yeah. Matt Pearson has a good surname. Says if you had to show one of the read this out to my brother-in-law when I put this video up the other day, and it was just one of those I don't know what to say. If you had to show one of these moments to someone who has never watched wrestling before and try your hardest not to make wrestling and wrestling fans look stupid, which one would it be? So basically of this list of things you've given me, you've got to pick out the least stupidest. RoboCop saving Sting, Chucky the Doll cut a promo on Rick Steiner, the Shockmaster's debut, the Gobbledygooker's debut, Papa Shango putting a voodoo curse on Ultimate Warrior. Again, it's that wrestling. What's it got to do with wrestling? You're a voodoo priest, right? Good on you. There hasn't been voodoo priest for years. It's just need to point that out. All right. Why don't you just go backstage, find Ultimate Warrior, and put a curse on him? Why are you doing it why do you want to fight him in the ring? You might lose. You might get hurt. You might get beaten up. You might break your leg. Just don't do it backstage. It doesn't make sense. That's one of the things about wrestling. You have to love it to be able to look past things like that, don't you? Because otherwise, you just go, "Oh, wrestling's so fucking stupid." Triple H having sex with what was his name, Katie Vick. And Mae Young giving birth to a hand. Which of those is the less stupid to someone who has never seen wrestling? And you don't want wrestling to look stupid. It's one of those, I just don't know. My first thought is the RoboCop one. It was fucking ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. But of all of those ones there, surely that is the least stupid. Between that and some guy having sex with a fucking mannequin, so, some guy dressed as a turkey coming out of a giant egg. All these things we've enjoyed. Hey, do I see something awesome? Yeah, I'm watching a guy crash through a wall. That's wrestling. That's why I love it. Well, because a guy crashes through a wall with a Star Wars helmet on. Oh yeah, I'm going to go with RoboCop. Even though they're all stupid and you're an evil bastard. How's that sound? Shoro Roro Horror. Seriously, look it up. Says, do you think Eddie Guerrero would be inducted into the 2006 Hall of Fame if he hadn't died in 2005? Absolutely not. I'm so sure of that. I'm sure it would have been years and years if he'd lived. If someone like Shawn Michaels or Ric Flair goes to the Hall of Fame when they retire, not while they're still alive, so no, definitely not. When did you find out about the blade business in wrestling? Says the effing man. Something I spotted one day, I think it was. Probably during the Attitude Era, maybe earlier. It was one of those... there are times, and I rip them when they do it, don't they? It's so obvious what they're doing that you can't help not notice it, So it's probably when I became a teenager, probably. Chronolo Ranolo says, do you remember Man Martin Rock from WWF in 1995? If so, what are your thoughts on him? Didn't watch wrestling in 1995, so probably don't remember a lot about him. The only place I've seen him, actually, he came with a big guitar, he had the WWF logo. I see him on WrestleCrap. There's a shrugging face. And if something doesn't make sense, they put a picture of him in there. That's all I can tell you about him. Literally nothing. There is nothing up here about him at all. Talking Shit 111 says, bit of a broad question, but what do you think? But do you think there will ever be a boom period in wrestling like in the 80s Hogan era, the late 90s Attitude Era? If there is, I hope it hurries up bloody soon. I really do. It's weird. I want to say I can't see it. But I mean, Jesus Christ, who saw wrestling become as popular as it did in the Attitude Era, for example? You know, the first national expansion, it kind of makes sense, but the Attitude Era one, the Monday Night Wars and all that, yeah, huge, ridiculous numbers watching wrestling. I want to say I'd like to see it, is what I'll say. I can't see it happening there. Not to the levels that it was. Wrestling's still popular. It's still very popular. It's just not massively popular. Not everyone you know is a wrestling fan like it was when I was at college. I started college in 1998 and finished in 2000. You can probably imagine that every single one of my friends at college was a wrestling fan. Every single one. Everyone watched wrestling. That's just how it was. I can't see that happening now. I'm sure there's no one watching this video now that's at college or at university where every single one of their friends is a wrestling fan, unless that's by design. You know, you've got 10 friends who are wrestling fans, and they've all gone to the same college. That's what I mean. Juan Cena says, since you are rather fond of cucumbers, which vegetable or fruit would you use on Renee Young? I don't know when I've ever said that I'm fond of vegetables, or cucumber even. Oh no, the only thing that I want to put inside of Renee Young is me. How's that sound? Boston Kennedy says, out of all the old school ECW guys that went to WWE, like Raven, Taz or Tommy Dreamer, who would you like to see been pushed? I would go for Raven all the way. The character was still so good when he went back to the WWF in 2000. I feel they could have got a lot of mileage out of Raven and never ever pushed him. And it was ridiculous. Jericho Allen asked such a good question. Have you ever considered a career as a paramedic technician? That way, you'd hear those lovely, infamous sirens all day long. Very good. Very, very good. Very good, like it. No, I haven't, because I'm too thick. Kazuki Mishima says, what do you think of when Umaga beat up Maria on Raw in 2006 when Bischoff was guest GM? I don't remember that at all. Honestly, as they're not. I don't have any recollection of that whatsoever. Taylor Jarman. I don't know. Why would Umaga beat up a woman? Is that because when you mention Eric Bischoff, is that something that Eric Bischoff made him do? I just don't know. Taylor Jarman says, hey Mark, congrats on the non-elusive 1,500 subscribers. This is the third time I've got this, by the way. Third time we've got there. Anyway, here's my question. I know you love No Mercy on the N64, like most of us do, but I've also heard that you say in the past that you've already played you've never played any of the other SmackDown games. So my question is this, aside from No Mercy, what other wrestling games have you enjoyed in the past? Here's to 1,600 subscribers. We're getting there. Yeah, you've got an exhaust. Well done. Wrestling games. WrestleMania 2000. Hey, how does that sound? I'm going to tie in another question. There's one just up here. That's Leon Pasqualotti. Hope that's spelled right. Says, what do you think of the the WCW games on the N64? So I can answer that with, I've never played any of them, I don't think, at the time. I've played them since. And they played like the No Mercy and WrestleMania 2000, because it's the same engine, isn't it? I think they're both pretty good games, to be honest. Much, much bigger roster, if I remember right, on the WCW ones. But before that, I remember there was arcade games. I can't remember what it's called. Shit, I can't for the life remember, because we had a youth club next to our high school. Oh, I knew I'd do this. Fuck me, what was it called? I had Legion of Doom, I had Hulk Hogan, Mr. Perfect. I became a fan of Mr. Perfect more because of that game. I can't for the life remember what it's called. I'm sure you're writing it in the comments as we speak. But yeah, I fell in love with Mr. Perfect and the Perfect Plex because of that game. Because no one ever kicked out of it. It was fucking brilliant. But yeah, we used to put a lot of 20p's into that, but I can't for the life remember what it's called. Not that many, is what I'll say. Surprisingly little. But you've got to remember is that we didn't have games consoles when I was a boy. I didn't get a games console. We got a Mega Drive, and we had Royal Rumble on that. I thought that was the game, wasn't it? Was Royal Rumble the game? No, there was no. Royal Rumble was the Mega Drive version. We had that. But yeah, I think between that and getting my N64, I don't think I had my own. I never had my N64 was my first console. You got to remember, if you're looking at me going, fuck, I didn't get my first TV in my bedroom until I was 16. So think about that. I see kids today and they've got a Xbox in the bedroom and they're 10, and you just go, I envy you so much. You have no idea. But then I look at them and realise that they have no imagination and don't like going outside, and think, well, I won. I spent more of my fucking time as a youth in a fucking den. I made a den in the woods. And then we found porn in the woods. I probably shouldn't say that, no. But yeah, this thing is not very many. honestly. And then I played No Mercy to death. Still play it every so often. I haven't played it this year, actually, now I think about it. No, I have, definitely have. Of course I have. I played it a couple of weeks ago. But no, the SmackDown games, I played them. I think I played the first two. Didn't really interest me because the control system was so different to how No Mercy worked, you know? I just couldn't get my head around it. I had the first Raw for the Xbox, the original Xbox. I had that, hated it. Absolutely hated it. And then I've got the latest 2K14, and I played the Road to WrestleMania, and then I've never played it since. I'm not a big... The thing is, I don't like wrestling games. I like two kinds of games, right? I like Halo games, or games that are kind of like that, but I don't even play those. Do you know what, right? This last 7 days, which is Saturday today, I've played 2 games on my Xbox, alright? The first one is the first Lego Harry Potter game, because 2 things. 1, I love the Lego games, and 2, because I'm a massive Harry Potter fan. And I went to the Harry Potter experience a couple of months ago now, and I said, right, I'm going to go through the 2 Harry Potter games. So I do a couple of levels every couple of days or something, and I am obsessed with Formula 1. So I play my F1 game. I'm going through F1 2012 now. I never got F1 2013. I'm going through F1 2012 on the career mode, and I'm driving for Williams, and the car's an absolute bitch. I'm doing it on its hardest difficulty, for saying. So every race, if you win a race, it's just like you are the fucking king, and it's just one of those, this is amazing. And I'm loving it that much, and the championship's so tight, I'm doing a couple of races a day. That's all I play. Honestly, I don't really play. Last game I played before the Harry Potter game was I played LA Noire for a bit, about 3 months ago now. Nothing. I don't play wrestling games very much, believe it or not. They just don't interest me. Tyler Zellers says, if you were a wrestler, which I know you are, oh, I was a backyard and I was shit. If you could have any 2 finishes, realistic or not, what would they be? I would keep my DDT pain game. It was a great move. DDT, you can hit on anyone. It doesn't matter how big they are, how small they are, you can hit it on anyone. And that, for someone who's as unfit as I am, and who's got no upper body strength whatsoever, I mean, Jesus Christ, back in the WW days, Champagne versus Crusher J, I couldn't pick the guy up. Have you seen how light the guy was? I couldn't pick him up. The fuck? Reverse Rana, obviously, would be my finisher of choice. You know, if it's because it's one of those, look, if I was a wrestler, I could do whatever I want, couldn't I? So yeah, Reverse Rana. I'd kill people with it, it'd be awesome. Adam Ross is a twat and says, hey Mark, I've thought long and hard about this, what to ask you, and so I've settled on a true head scratcher. Is this Sparks' year? Now I've got a tough one here, because do I tell the people who are going, the fuck? Sparks is a future shock wrestler. He's one of my favourite wrestlers, believe it or not. He's been in Future Shock forever, for absolute ever, and he loses a lot of matches. And the thing is, he came out at the start of 2012, and he came out at the start of 2013, and essentially cut the same promo. That, look, last year was bollocks. You wouldn't say it like that, it's a family show, but last year was bollocks, this year's going to be amazing. I'm going to be the fucking guy. This year is my year, right? And then he cut that promo and then lost every single match he had for the rest of the year. So we have been saying that this year is Sparks' year. He hasn't come out and said it this year, and that's why it's his year, because he hasn't come out and said this year's Sparks' year, and it has been so far. He's been fantastic. He hasn't won any matches. Oh, has he? No, he did. He won a match at the first Underground show. Yeah. So yeah, happy day. No, that was last year. Ah, feck. Oh, but yeah, Adam, it's definitely Sparks' year. Absolutely. I've answered that question. Barry Lloyd says, hi Mark, love the vids, keep up the hard work. My question is, who do you think has the best gimmick / character in all of wrestling? That, surely, is The Undertaker. Surely, because The Undertaker's gimmick is still going. He debuted in 1990 and has constantly kept evolving the character and kept it fresh. Even when he did the American Badass stuff, it was little subtle differences, even if it's just shaving his head like it was last year. It's little things that have kept the character going. How many characters have been going for as long as The Undertaker? How many have had the longevity that The Undertaker's had? The best character ever in wrestling is The Undertaker. For certain, Seamus Dillon says, who do you think, who do you think WWE pulled the rug out? Why, he's meant to say, of course, why do you think the WWE pulled the rug out from wrestlers to begin to get majored over? I.e., Wade Barrett, Ryback, Jeff Hardy. Granted, he was the ultimate protector of his own demise. Kofi Kingston, Zack Ryder, etc. I really think, with the majority of people, not Jeff Hardy, the majority of people you just said there, they get bored of them. WWE seem to have such small attention spans that they, cookie. No, it's kind of like that. They have this 50-50 stop-start booking, which means that no one gets over. To get over, you've got to win a lot. And if you start losing, then no one cares about you. People don't get behind losers. It's that simple. It's why the losing streak gimmick is fucking stupid. It just kills anyone's momentum. But yeah, if you win a match one week and then lose a match the next week and then win a match and lose a match and keep doing that, why should I give a fuck? You're just the most indifferent 50-50 booking guy. That's the thing, 50-50 booking. Everyone gets their own. If you lose, you get your heat back. And the next week, I win. So it's all good. You know, I win one week and then I lose the next. And it's 50-50 booking. It's absolute worst. No one is allowed to look strong because, you know, as soon as I've lost, well, it's all right because I'm going to batter you and get my heat back straight away. So the loss becomes meaningless. You know, it's WWE's stupid booking. That's the way. They've got such a short attention span that they get hot on someone and then they go and do stupid things like right with Kofi, who was getting a lot of momentum behind him. Like, yeah, this is a guy for the future, and then they lose to Randy Orton, and it's like, oh, so that was pointless. A loss that would have done nothing at all for Randy, and the win would have been huge for Kofi. They just don't book it. They go against conventional thinking. They go against a logical thing and just like, fuck it. Why should I care? Kimaro Ronto says, how would fans react if Punk cut his 2011 pipe bomb back in '87 on Hulk Hogan? How would the fans have reacted to that since there was no dirt sheets or internets back then? Good question, I think. The answer would be, surely, that I don't think they'd react. I think it'd be, like, some of the things I've heard about and seen on Nitro in the late 90s, especially in the 2000s with Russo. And so they would make references that only the most hardcore fans would get. You know, what people don't seem to grasp, or sometimes don't seem to grasp, is that not everyone spends all day on the internet looking it up into wrestling. Some people just like to watch the show. Some people just like to go to the events, you know. And so it's like when Bischoff could cut that promo on Sid Vicious. What's the matter, Sid? Not got any scissors? And the announcers went, oh, I don't believe he's just said that. And the audience went, meh. So Bischoff said it again, and there was no reaction. And the thing is that they're expecting everyone to know that once upon a time, Sid Vicious stabbed Arn Anderson with some scissors back in '92, I think it was. They're expecting everyone in the arena to know that story, you know, and to get a reaction. And the thing is, it's not like it is nowadays where, you know, we're all on the internet, we're all on Twitter, and we all see things. So the type of promo that Punk cut, we know the story, we know what he's on about when he's talking about. In the 80s, I don't think he would have got a single reaction. I think he could have said whatever he likes about backstage stuff, and I think they would have just gone, "What's he on about? What's he on?" I don't think he would have got any reaction at all. Nat Kennedy Breeze says, how do you think Sting will be used in WWE? And my guess is a single match followed by proceeding into the Hall of Fame, going for the obvious. Yeah, I think I said earlier on, I don't think he'll wrestle. I don't really think he will, but that's what I would expect. I would expect a WrestleMania match or a SummerSlam match like this summer, a match at SummerSlam, and then Hall of Fame with a DVD next year. Nice and simple. Hi Mark, do you think, oh my god, we're almost done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions left. Awesome sauce. Go 316. Let's try and go through them quickly then. Go 316 says, hi Mark, do you think we'll ever... Oh, fuck's sake. One with a long answer straight away. Do you think we'll ever see a pay-per-view event overseas, or will SummerSlam 92 be the one and only venture abroad? SummerSlam 92 was taped, wasn't shown live. They could show it whenever they wanted. The thing with doing a pay-per-view these days, it would have to be shown live. It would absolutely have to do, because there's so many spoilers out there, you know, that people just wouldn't watch it. You know, I don't think. It would have to be on after o'clock at night over here. You're probably looking at 10 o'clock at night starting time. If we started at 7 o'clock over here, that'd be what, 2 o'clock in the afternoon in New York. So think about from the Pacific time, you'd be getting up early in the morning to watch WrestleMania, wouldn't you? Not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Now, at the end of the day, WWE, whether they're a world company or not, are based in America. Their core audience is America. That's where they're going to do the pay-per-views. And it's just one of those things that we just got to like it or lump it. If you don't like it, go to one of the shows over there or don't watch. It's just one of those things. If you're happy to trek over to America every year to watch WrestleMania, good for you. I'm just not prepared to do it. It's too expensive, and I don't want to get shot. Alec Clark says, hey Mark, what is your favourite Rock moment? Alright, I want to say when he beat the Triple H for the championship at Backlash 2000, but it's not. It's when he challenged Hulk Hogan to the match at WrestleMania. That moment, you can still watch and it still sends chills up your spine. It's absolutely phenomenal. You see? Do you see? Yeah, I said it earlier on in the video, this can record for an hour and a half, and we've actually gone over that, so that's how long this one is. We got as far as T.A. Howard Rocks, my old trolling friend. Says, should the hominids at Google burn in hell for all of eternity for turning the commenting section of YouTube into a Brobdingnagian monstrosity? Brobdingnagian. Isn't that from Gulliver's Travels? Is it not? Isn't that rings a bell? Maybe. YouTube commenting section bothers me on one front, just the one. I can't. Some people, I don't know what the criteria for this is, but some people I can't reply to comments on my vids. So they put a comment on my video and I can't reply to it. And sometimes that's very annoying. I got asked a question I got asked the other day, Mark, I'm looking for Wrestling X, where can I find it? And I was like, I can't reply to you. So I had to go onto his profile and send him a message saying, look, this is what you can do. And it's one of those, that's really weird. But no, other than that, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. It genuinely doesn't. Christopher Larson says, thanks for your reviews. I thoroughly enjoy them. Awesome balls. My question is, what's your favourite Chris Jericho match? Oh, let's think. Jericho. Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 19 is the first one that comes into my head, and then his match with The Rock at Royal Rumble 2002 also springs to mind. So probably one of those two is probably the best one. And lastly, Matthew Clough 3 asks a very vague question. No, he doesn't. It says, what is your favourite moment overall during the Attitude Era? Overall. What is, in your mind, Mark, the best thing to happen in the Attitude Era? Go, Brain. Brain just goes, ding, 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 ding. All of the above. Like, shit. My favourite moment of the Attitude Era was where I sat down at my friend's house, my friend Gaz's house, in 2001, and we watched WrestleMania 17, and it was awesome. It was absolutely fantastic. A room full of people, we never had so many people watching WrestleMania as that one. And of course the card was absolutely fantastic. And you had a bit of everything. That's the thing, you had a bit of everything. So you had a technical match between Benoit and Angle, and you had the ladder match with the TLC, and then the main event had some good brawling with these two decent characters, and there were a lot of weapons in it. And, you had the gimmick battle royal, so there was people there with us who were just getting into wrestling after watching it when they were a kid. And so Gobbledygooker comes out, and Sergeant Slaughter comes out, something like that. And I'm like, oh my god, that guy used to be my favourite back in the day. That was my favourite moment as a fan. I think that moment was just amazing. And I still have my VHS recording of the show from that night. It's one of those, I never play it because I haven't got a video player. No, I haven't. Even if I had, I probably wouldn't play it. I don't want it to ever get damaged. I want to be able to, even though I've got it on DVD, right? I've got the 2-disc DVD set of it, and I've also got it on this laptop as part of a 2001 pack, and I've got it on my I've got it on my external hard drive as well, just in case. Now, there's a reason for this. It's because last year, me and Bobby went to, and a couple of other friends, we went to a Fight Club Pro show and went and got absolutely shit-faced drunk. And then when we got home, we said, look, should we just watch the best wrestling pay-per-view ever? Should we watch 17? And he's like, yeah, fucking too right. And of course, my video player wouldn't play it. And it's one of those, well, I'm not risking that again. Once it's back out, it's like, nope, that's coming out. And then it's like, where's my DVD? It's like, oh, I'll let it to a mate. Like, I can't watch it. And I was that hammered I couldn't work my computer to get a torrent. So that's why I've got so many copies of it now. It's like my DVD's back in the fold. Like, that's never ever going out anywhere. Anyway, guys and girls, we're done. This is probably the longest vid I've done for quite some time, and I've absolutely loved it. I'm sorry about the waffling. It's just, this is what happens when I don't have a script. I'm really glad you like these Q&As. I don't hate them as much as I say I do. That was fun. That was a fun one to do, because we talked about all sorts of stuff. I'm able to vent a little bit, able to have a bit of a rant, talked about some really good stuff, talked about some good wrestling. I really, really hope you've enjoyed this. Give us a little like down below for the heel beard. Leave me a comment that's not me. That'd be really nice. Think about that next time you want to put a comment on one of my vids where I've made a mistake. How's that sound? My next vid will be 10 years ago, Judgment Day 2004 review. Be up on Tuesday or maybe Monday. Depends how fast I watch the rest of the show. Yeah, I've been Mark P. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this now, you're a fucking hero. For watching 90 minutes of me waffling. Fucking Christ. You must really like me. They like me. They really like me. To everyone who's been subscribed since 2007, I raise my can of Blue Spark and tip it to you. Oh yeah, take it easy, guys. That's an odd way to end it.